Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In War of the Visions, let's talk about the new Yuffie vision card, and I can't remember the last time I made a video about just a vision card. But we can also talk about just the job-based buff vision cards in general, and apparently the very first one was just released in Global, so this is lucky timing for us. I remember when I first heard about them, my immediate thoughts were, maybe this will expand team building possibilities, and maybe this is the end of newly released element-based vision cards, minus the Dark Esper releases. So far, it looks like the Dark Espers are the only element-based releases, but I don't know about how much it has actually expanded team building. We'll talk about that concept later. These new job-based buff vision cards, they actually kind of remind me of the early days of War of the Visions, before we got kind of element-specific buffs. In those days, we had to think about like attack types or individual matchups or map considerations or other synergies. But nowadays, we've entered golden time, and so every element is very fleshed out, not only as far as like unit roles, but just by the amount of vision cards that every element has, and then kind of the variety of buffs that they can give us. But anyway, in JP, we've had a few months of these job-based vision cards, and I've kind of come to two conclusions looking at how the JP community has taken them. One, these cards are difficult to grasp and build with because it's difficult to know, much less remember, which units they are good for. And then I'll include some charts, hopefully to make it easier to get our heads around who gets what. And then the second big takeaway was that people ended up thinking about these new job-based buff vision cards in terms of elements anyways, so they weren't actually expanding the build possibilities. I saw that JP players were not freed from thinking about elements first and foremost quite yet. But here, let's look at this first card. Again, just came out in Global, and then I maxed it in JP the other day. And I made this chart, and this should make it easier to like think about who is actually in the pool where we could use 3 characters to take advantage of this card. And then I laid it out, so we got the elements going across the top, and then on the left we have the types of jobs, or main hand weapons that can use the card or benefit from the card. These cards, they do not care about element, but by grouping them by element, we can also think about like what other element-based vision cards would work in conjunction with this job-based buff vision card. And then at the bottom there, I put the buffs that we get. For the party, Physical Man-Eater 30, Critical Evade 16, Projectile Resistance 20, and then for self, HP 5%, Attack 20%. I don't really think that this card is strong enough to make us want to kill ourselves to create a team for it. And then I think there are 3 ways to kind of look at this chart to think about what sort of team we want to make. One would just be to look at all of the characters on here, just pick 3 that we like, and then fill out the rest with universal buff vision cards which aren't so tied to elements. Another way, and that's the way that most JP players are thinking about it, is still in terms of elements. So we can, choose an element, and then we can look at the characters in there, and then use that in conjunction with the vision card. So like if we look at ice, we could maybe have a team of Alaya and Snow and Mediana. They're all ice. We can use this job-based buff vision card as well. But yeah, that's pretty limiting. We look at any of these elements, and there's not really a great team in any of them. One day the game will get there. We'll get more characters that wield different weapons and different elements, but until then, we'll be a little bit restricted. And then the third way that you could approach this is looking at the rows rather than the columns. We could maybe think of an all-gun team or an all-fist team. There too, I think there are still a lot of roles that are not quite filled yet. And so it might sound crazy to kind of think in those terms. If we, say we have a favorite weapon type, let's say we love gun users, we can keep an eye on all of the releases of the vision cards, and any of them that have gun in them we can chase. And then we don't care what the other 2 or 3 jobs are, and then we can still work on our all-gun team. Thinking about it that way, it's kind of starting from 0, because then you wouldn't be as thinking about elements there. But it might be an interesting way to go. But yeah, I really think before these cards become at all preferable to the existing element-based vision cards, there needs to be a critical mass of these released, and I'm wondering how many it's going to take for us to get there. And then it doesn't help that we now have 6 slots for vision cards. And so are we like really waiting for like, say, 3 vision cards that all buff, axe, gun, and knife before we consider axe, gun, and knife teams for high-level PvP? I don't know. And that raises another question. How much should we chase or work on these vision cards, knowing that they have not reached critical mass yet? My instinct says to chase none, but work on every one that we pull by accident. And that's what I've been doing so far. And so I saw that the Sephiroth card was job-based, and I was like, nope, big skip. Add to that it's a limited time card, and no, I really don't need to go for that. Okay, and then let's end the video by looking at Yuffie's vision card. This is a handout where we can beat missions and quests to get all of the shards. I've already maxed mine, it wasn't that difficult. And this might be the best handout vision card ever, and maybe the best jobs-based buff vision card that we have now in the game. And it doesn't have anything to do with what it gives, actually, but it's more about like who can use it. But looking at the buffs for the party, gained AP 60%, critical damage 20, evade 20, and then for self, attack 10%, and single target resistance 10. So looking at these one by one, gained AP, this is one of those buffs which is almost as effective as a sub-vision card as a main. So this would be a very easy card to use as a sub. Critical damage, that's actually kind of rare for vision cards. That's a nice buff to have. And then evade 20. There are not a lot of vision cards that give evade 20. There's the classic Shiva, of course. And then there's the Rob vision card, but that's only good for light element units. And I can't remember any beyond that. I think all of the others like give you luck or something. So this is actually kind of a valuable card with a rare buff on it. It's pretty cool that it's a handout. And then looking at the jobs that are buffed by this vision card, it covers a lot of the ones that have kind of evadey characters in them anyway. So ninjas, of course, we can see on the top row. Short swords, there's Pissarro, Halloween, Federica. Who else we got? Violet. For staves, Mediana, she's actually kind of evadey. Axe, I don't know about any of these guys. But looking at this list overall and then the types of jobs covered, maybe the only real big exceptions are like Vineta with a dagger, and then some of the fist units. But the reason why I think that this card is like very clever in design, and then also as far as like the timing of the release, is that evade parties were always kind of open to like rainbow teams or multi-element teams. And it also helps that one of the best evade vision cards is a universal buff, the Secrets of the Heart, which gives you luck to everybody, regardless of element. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this card, and I might even like try to start building towards it. Like Kiton, maybe I'll take her to, I'll do the Dream upgrade for her, take her to level 140. Falm, when she gets her Dream upgrade, maybe I'll take her. And then I've been hearing a lot of people talk about King Mont as a good candidate for a like to support an evade party. He actually has some good luck, so you could maybe build him for evade too. Tita, I think he's okay at evade as well. But yeah, seeing my old favorites like Halloween Federica, and then possibly teaming her up with my new favorite, Yuffie, that's pretty cool. Okay, so hopefully laying out who gets the buffs in a chart makes it a little bit easier to grasp. And then this weekend, actually, I'll go back and then I'll look at all of the job-based buff vision cards. I'll make charts for all of them, I'll put them all into one video and release that. It's going to be a while before these job-based vision cards become necessary. I think in order of necessity, the first are the universal buff, the old ones like Odin, Ifrit, Secrets of the Heart. The next most necessary are the element, and then the last priority are these job-based vision cards. But I'm actually a little bit excited for the future. I hope they don't abandon this idea. I hope they keep releasing more of these vision cards. Okay, let me know what you think about these new type of vision cards. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.